Hello, everybody.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, sorry. You go. It's okay.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Roosta. My co-commentator, who we will be fighting over tonight, is Saberwolf.
No. I didn't mean
Hope
to.
everyone's doing well. We are having this is going to be Blackjack Battle Royale, the final table. This is round 2. Saberwolf, what do you know about the runners and just what's going on here tonight?
Well, tonight we got a great show for you. We're going to have round 2, heat 1, which is going to feature Jexvrok, Gaahr, InfiniteFluff and Boo. Now, before this, earlier on this week, they had to do a redraw, of course. So rounds 2, 3, and 4, they'll be drawing more cards to add on to this lovely cake they're building of flags. So starting round 2, each player will be drawing a set of 3 cards, and they'll be playing one of those 3 cards. Now, if one of those cards that they play conflict with the previous card that's in play, that previous card will be removed from the table. Now, the draw order will be determined from the previous round's times, which means the slowest player goes first and the fastest player goes last, giving the fastest player the chance to look at the entire board before making their pick, eliminating a pick, or finding something really juicy to play without having to be countered. And here are those picks that they went through from round 1 and 2. Now, these are combined, even if you see round 1 and 2. These are all the things combined. Pretty juicy stuff here we got.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in case anyone's not familiar with these, just running down real quick. So, the Monk, the very first card, and then the very last card, the Dragoon. So those are basically your starting characters. One will be, I believe, Saber with Blitz. The other is Edgar with Jump. River Mastery means if you do Leap River, you get all the blitzes, so that could be a very good check because Blitz is a very powerful command. Transcendent Characters means everybody's got some awesome stats. Unbound means the entire world is open to you right from the start. Normally in Worlds Collide, if you've seen any of our seeds before, the game events are locked to the characters you recruited. So, for example, to go into the Magitech Factory, you would need Celeste, since that's sort of something that's related to her in the vanilla game. Here, not an issue. You just go wherever you want. Vanilla shops, so if you know where things were bought in the original game, you can do that, with the exception of no toys, which are things like Super Balls that can kind of sort of break the seed if you buy a bunch of them. So then let's get to the real meat of it. No free lunch means open checks that aren't gated by bosses aren't going to give you anything outside of a few. And then the real big stuff, the finality, which was produced, that basically means if someone dies in battle, they're dead forever. You have it's permadeath. You can't raise them back. In some seeds, permadeath, you've got Phoenix Downs where you can bring them back. That is not the case here. Someone dies, you either reset or you find a new character. Silence means every character starts off muted. You can still get around that if you want to equip a relic which makes you immune to mute, but if you're not doing that, nobody's casting magic.
Mm-hmm. And then for round 2,
and
we added on to this lovely cake with Potent Espers, which means even though we're muted, we are going to have the ability to cast Espers at a lower cost and have multiple summons with them. NPC Zapper, which is Y remove for when we're removing an NPC. Although we have open world, it kind of limits what we're doing with this, so it's more of a quality of life thing to get around NPCs that might get stuck with. Dragon's Horizon extended our flag set by a little bit by getting 4 more dragons on top of the 6 characters, 9 espers we need. Random Chess was kind of a rough draw. I believe that was Double Down that had to do it. He pretty much drew all the cards we already had in play, so Random Chess remains. Tough Scaling did replace Mirror Match, so now our scaling is based on 2.5 times the characters, espers, and dragons we do find, so scaling will be around level 47. Unless you do find an extra one of each, then you'll be level 50. Friend Skip, if you find 3 extra characters, we will unlock Kefka's Skip. You still have to unlock Kefka, but you'll be able to skip to the statues if you can. Fighter Son is when we find all those 4 dragons we need anyways. All our characters will get 20 vigor. And yep, that's about it, because you missed your goon from before.
Yep, and just to answer a question in chat, for finality, there is no way to raise someone mid-fight. There's no life spells, no Phoenix Downs. If you die, you're gone.
Well, there is life 3.
Correct.
There's
good
life 3,
clarification.
and Phoenix
there is
can
life
cast
3
life
if you
3.
have it.
So, that's our only way out. But yeah, it makes things real when you're dealing with condemns and stuff.
Yeah, just one more thing to add. You can only revive people with Phoenix Downs, and there are no Phoenix Downs to start, and you cannot either purchase Phoenix Downs, nor will they show up in treasure chests. So with this particular set of options, once a character dies, there is no way to bring them back. So if one of the characters in battle dies, we'll probably end up seeing a reset if that character is important to that particular runner's team, right? So we are really going to be on the lookout for the Life 3 spell and the Phoenix Esper, right? Those are going to be very important in this run.
And just shout out to our third person in the booth. We do have Schwans running in the background. Hi, Schwans.
Hey, I'll be tracking, so I'll mostly be quiet, but I'll jump in every once in a while because I love to hear the sound of my own voice. So, yeah.
By the way, if you don't know Schwans, if you follow on Speed Gamers, he does all of our Speed Gamer, pretty much all of our Speed Gamer restreams over there on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. So we do stream over there every Wednesday for some community races, and I believe we did Turn of the Month this week, so check that out.
Yeah, it was a fun race because I won it. Cha-ching! Anyway, let's continue on with round 2 here. We do have 100% random chests. Did we go through all the rest?
Yeah, we went all through it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Never mind. I'm gonna mute myself again and just hide in the corner.
The mutilation continues. Alrighty. Let's get into it, shall we? This is the Blackjack Battle Royale, final table, round 2, heat number 1. Jexvrok's Gaahr, InfiniteFluff and Boo. Let's get it on, shall we?
Absolutely, these are 4 top runners, and it's the final table, so everybody here has worked their way up.
Yep, InfiniteFluff will be jumping in there in just a second. We're about 20 seconds away from the flag dropping here. Once again, you have Saberwolf, Arusta, and Schwans 27 here on the mics and in the background running the restream and the tracking. We have Jexvrok in the, lava, Gaahr in the pink and black, InfiniteFluff in the grayscale, and Boo is running the green. And so far, we do have Gaahr joining the group, so Gaahr will be our third character of the bunch. And he is carrying, looks like Rage and Sword Tech.
Yes, and those are some very good abilities here, because Rage might be able to get you some magic.
My goodness.
And then Sword Tech has very good damage, physical damage, so if he stays muted, you have something to do.
Gaahr getting VK immediately from Culligan. I missed what Jex got there in at Gao's dad's house, but I was just saying, oh my goodness, Sabin is starting with 98 vigor.
That's a holy boy.
Gear.
He's a musclehead that's been hitting the gym. So
Skyrunner.
Yeah, so we'll see if Sabin can equip that Valiant Knife. I know we do have the River Mastery card, which might pull our runners towards the Elite River. Some fixed dice for InfiniteFluff there in the Returner's Hideout as well. But we'll see. Jack's going to go check the Curse Shield count here and also get access to the Norse Weapon Shop. So in a seed with no free progression and open world, we'll see our runners head to the free progression checks in order to get some high tier items, including Gaahr pulling out a Ragnarok sword there in the Imperial base. We'll see what Jex decides. This is going to be a choice between 2 high tier items, so let's see which one he decides to go for here. And it is a Thunder Shield or a Red Cap. Yeah, that's
Thunder Shield all day.
Genji Armor was, what was that, Gao Manor? InfiniteFluff just showed us that. So things are flying all over the place. Let's talk a little about strategy. How many high tier items, Arusta, are you getting at the beginning of the open world seed? And does it depend upon what abilities your character has? Because we have Sabin with Blitz, Edgar with Jump, and Gao with Sword Tech Rage, I believe.
Also, we have Curse Shield was 8, by the way.
Yeah, and I am definitely sort of deciding based on what I find. Given that they found a Ragnarok, there's fixed dice available, stuff like that, I'm not going to take very many free checks, because really what you're looking for in Worlds Collide, offensive power really drives things more than anything else. So if you start getting stuff like that, especially with like the 97 vigor Sabin, I think you want to just keep rolling.
Sword Tech guy is my least favorite NPC. Boo, you should have just banished X-zoned him into the nether realm there.
Or punished him for talking to him twice at least.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, we do have Gaahr with Sword Tech. Unfortunately, we do not have an objective to unlock all of the Sword Techs.
Yeah.
Ooh, an Atma weapon, also in the Sealed Gate Cave. So lots of high potent offense here early on, and Jexvrok heading to Albrook. This is one of the things I like about vanilla shops, is that you know exactly what's going to be in the shops. So there's certain ones that we're going to see our runners sort of kind of gravitate towards. One of them will be Albrook, especially in the world of Ruin, because it has both earrings and Atlas armlets, right? Warp stones. There's a couple of places that have it, and the fact that we have the auto mute on our party means we're going to go looking for either ribbons or white capes, and there are white capes in both of the Nikeas and also in, I believe, one of the MOBAs checks. I think it's World of Balance MOBAs. So
yeah, I think MOBA's World of Balance has them.
Okay, yep. Oh, there's one in the chest right there, so Infinite Fluff doesn't even have to go all that far. But yeah, with the amount of firepower we've had so far, Arista, I don't know if we're going to be using magic all that much in this seed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the kind of seed, especially at this level, like all these runners are very good and they know how good the other runners are. It's something where minutes count, so you're not going to go far out of your way and do extra empty checks that you know are empty. You're probably just going to go as fast as you can.
I do want to point out something at the end of Esper Cave. There was a Super Ball for Gaahr. So Gaahr does start finding a Super Ball, which are not allowed in the shops. So a little bit of early possible power there for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, the reward at the end of the Sealed Gate Cave was only a Magus Rod, and I believe there was a Force Shield, Heir to the Figaro Throne. So we've exhausted most of the quick and easy free checks. Another option that we have, and this is something that I like to do in open world seeds, is I like to find my dried meat and do my Velt check. We do know that because of vanilla shops, the Velt dried meat will also be in World of Balance MOBAs. So I'm expecting our runners to head there and pick up some meat. Yum.
And my favorite stop would be Gaahr with the snipers.
Yeah. That would normally be a really good one, but with all of, I mean, there's a Force Armor there in one of the chests in the Turner's Hideout as well. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. So we'll see which
one nice thing about, just to jump in here since you mentioned the MOBA's belt check, one nice thing about that check is it's guaranteed to be either a character or Esper. It cannot be an item, so you know you're getting something useful.
38,000 there for the thief check.
Yeah, so Gaahr does have the cash money for it, so we'll see if he decides to pick it up. The scaling was set to difficult, right?
Yes,
tough
scale. Tough
scaling, correct. 2.5 times.
So yeah, it's going to be a little bit. You don't want to pick up too many Espers in progression. Meanwhile, Infinite Fluff here with is this a vanilla tunnel armor?
That is a vanilla tunnel armor there for Fluff, and using Rage Bolt 2, be able to get through that fight.
Nice. One of the nice quality of life features with the latest version of Worlds Collide is not in the battle menu, but in the non-battle menu, you could actually see what rages are, what monsters give what spells. So that's really nice. Infinite Fluff showing off the rage knowledge there. You do need a lot of vanilla game knowledge, as Jexvrok says, get out of my way, dude.
Yeah, that was one of the NPCs that everybody complained about.
Yeah, so not only do you need rando knowledge, but you need vanilla game knowledge as well. So it's good to see. Especially more so in this particular seed where you have the vanilla shops. So Fluff on the Velt, and there is a treasure hunter for some of that dried meat. So he's going to pick up his 4th character, and Fluff is already, I guess, out in the quote-unquote lead here. It's very hard to tell in Worlds Collide when somebody is ahead or behind. It looks like Valiant Knife is going on to lock, which probably means Sabin is headed for Bum Rush Town with Infinite Fluff's build here.
Yeah, the question. Oh, he's got experience
Yeah,
egg
absolutely.
on. Wow, experience egg on Saban. Sorry to jump in there, but if I have experience egg on Saban, do you even bother going to Lette River to learn this during the blitzes, or are you gonna go for 42?
Well, if you go for 42,
I think
you
I
have
might.
to watch that cutscene, right? So I would just go to the Elite River, especially to level up my characters.
Rooster,
And
you?
hopefully the boss at the end isn't too difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably go to the Elite River, and I would also probably. I can't remember if Fluff picked up the Cursed Shield or not, but 8 battles means you'd probably get it most of the way done on the Elite River. So that would be a nice secondary incentive there as well.
Yeah, but wouldn't the cutscene be a heck of a lot shorter than floating down all the way down that river, though?
Well, you also get whatever's at the end of the Elite River too, right? It's progression. Whereas leveling yourself up to 42 and watching a cutscene, you don't really get all that much. But yeah, it's definitely a choice that, he has to make. If I was in his position, I would probably put the experience egg onto Gaahr, because Sword Tech 7, you don't get until level 44, I think it is, or 43. One of those higher levels.
46?
Something like that.
Something like that. I'll have to look it up.
Right, but right now he is sort of. We don't know what Gaahr is doing in our party. Saban would be doing Bum Rush. Edgar would be swinging one of those giant swords. Locke's got the Valiant Knife. So Gaahr is kind of the odd person out right now in our party. So if you put the experience egg on Gaahr, level him up to Sword Tech 6, eventually
44.
whatever it is, eventually he'll get to Sword Tech 7. And InfiniteFluff is on his bathroom break here. This fight is randomized of how long it takes for Rizopus to appear. It's between 5 and 55 seconds, so that audio cue in the vanilla speedrun doesn't apply here to Worlds Collide. But this is a pretty easy boss right away to get, thankfully.
Ooh, Bolt 3 coming out with Gaahr at the very early stages of the game. It's going to get that fight down.
Ooh, wow. I think this was an Imp NPC, right, that we saw? So this is going to be either an Esper or an item, and usually with no free progression turned on. Checks with bosses usually net progression, so that's Esper number 2 for Fluff.
Oh, but taking the walk of shame.
Womp, 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 womp. Jexvrok picking up his first Esper there, buying it from Zen Thief with Madowin. And it looks like Gaahr is going to get his lock on the Veltier. So we need to have a running.
And simultaneously, Boo is about to buy his Esper as well.
Nice.
We need a running NPC death count. I think we're up to 3 so far. I like to see it.
I don't think I have a graphic for that, unfortunately.
Well,
might have to make one though.
Maybe I'll put the bosses on here, and that'll be our unofficial NPC death count. Anyway,
Per character, like per runner.
Per runner.
You get a 10-second penalty per wire remove you do. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the Vanish X Zone does take a little bit of time to
That's
actually
totally
do the
just-
animation, so it is kind of a time loss. But hey, sometimes NPCs, you got to get them out of your way.
Arusta, looking at this party right now, are we already looking at the final party already with Jumping Edgar, Blitzen Saban, Sortek Gaahr, and Locke, who can already use a VK since everybody has a VK?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see, unless you found someone very, like on your very next check who had a really good ability, and I can't even think of what that would be. Maybe Magitech, but anything short of that, I couldn't see taken. I mean, especially with Gaahr, looks like what we've seen from Fluff, Gaahr already has some decent rages, so Gaahr already has something he can do.
Yeah, Rage is great, in early and sort of the mid game, but you don't really want to have a Berserk character in Final Kefka, so you want to have him eventually do something, right? So.
And that goes back to the experience icon if you get that Sword Tech 4 or level 44.
Yep. So yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing. We'll see where our runners go.
And Jexvrok just switched it over to Gaahr.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that too.
And he is in returners. He's about to go down Letta River possibly too.
Yeah, you know, especially after getting the Valiant Knife for lock, you know, I like that move a lot. And whoa, we got some dinosaurs on the screen.
Was that a
Gaahr
Mega
taking-
Looks like Gaahr will be uncursing that shield some equip it mid-fight here, so Gaahr is probably going to go for that.
Was that a Mega Elixir in the barrel and Thamasa there? For Boo?
Yeah, I think Boo just pulled that one out of there, so that's a nice find for him. Fluff grabbing a red jacket and a chest, so that's nice. That'll nullify some fire damage, and both Edgar and Sabin can naturally equip that. So
And the real crown after that too.
yeah. So in Worlds Collide, in this set of options anyway, our equipable item pool.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, hero ring too. That is a stacked cave.
Yeah.
As get your paddles out, we're going upriver.
Ooh, Terra.
First one on the ride.
So I guess that goes back to our question: is do you replace Gaahr with Terra here, as he is doing Edgar's engine room check here?
Well, so I believe one of the Espers, the Zen Thief, has Ice 3 on it. So we could always turn Terra into our caster, right? And we do have both fixed ice and later on an Atma weapon to use, right? I think there's an Atma weapon that we pulled out of. Maybe Infinite Fluff doesn't have it because I don't know if he went to the sealed gate.
No, he did not.
Right? So, obviously, if you have an Atma weapon user, that's who you put your experience egg on. but I don't think he's got that Atma weapon. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Fluff decides to make the hot swap there, and Jexvrok running into a bad mob on the Elite River has to reset. Gaahr also reset out of that Brontor fight as well. So a couple of our runners running into some hiccups. We'll see if they are better second time around.
Yeah, and this is really where you start to see some of that finality come into play, because, you know, that fight against the Fire Dancer, normally you could probably work your way through it and survive, but the instant someone dies, they're gone for good, so it's going to make people reset a lot more quickly.
Yeah, and piggybacking on that, Arusta, we have the Curse Shield that gives a lot of negative status effects and a lot of bad defensive stats, so it's really a risky play to try and uncurse the shield, because it gives your character such negative disadvantages. Meanwhile, a different type of water or aquatic sport for Boo. He's going through the Serpent Trench, and we've got Rexol on this bed of pasta. That is a delicious Italian meal right there, if I ever saw one.
Yeah, Rexol, not a great boss to be fighting here. Don't have to worry about the multi-targeting yet, because we don't have any offerings or multi-slashing with Sword Tech 4s or anything, but so it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, Fluff showing off some more rage knowledge here using the Shrapnel Rage, which is non-elemental, and so that's a good one for Rexol, because Rexol does absorb fire and pearl, so that's a really nice heads-up play from him there. Gaahr, meanwhile, is in the Imperial camp. With the 4 dragons that we have to kill, Arusta, do you think that we'll see runners tend to go towards checks that have those dragons tied in, like Infinite Fluff here, presumably is going to go to Ancient Castle after he's done, which is where a dragon is.
Yeah, I mean, I think Infinite Fluff is showing it off here, but I think Ancient Castle is one that takes a big step up. Ooh, and does swap for the Terra. Didn't see if he actually even checked what her ability was.
66 magic power, doesn't matter.
Because, yeah. I mean, normally Ancient Castle is one of those that people feel is a pretty slow check, but you do get 2 back-to-back with the tentacles and then this. And with the dragon, I think it's straightforward. A lot of the other dragons, you might just say you'll get the ice dragon near Narsh, the dirt dragon, and then maybe you take one in Kefka's tower to get your 4.
Well, you also have the couple of trap chests down there too, so you do have 2 chances to try to get the offering while you're down there. Ancient Castle, so you can add on to that.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's just short-circuiting out here, or if he's going to go unequip Gaahl and then head back down into the Ancient Castle, because I would assume that that's where he would want to go. Meanwhile, it's Strago at the Imperial camp there for Gaahr as the reward.
Yeah, it might be unequipping Gaahr because of the Esper that was attached to him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Plus, they also had the white cape on him as well.
Yeah.
So, being able
There we
to
go.
equip Bismarck, which has Life 3 on it.
Oh wow, that's
So
really
that
nice.
was, yes, that's a big move to do it now. Before you get the Dragon, because Dragon's
Life
going to
3
make you
and
learn
also
it.
a magic power +1 too.
Oh, Magic Power +1 even more. So, hey, forget the 66, we're going to go up to 100.
Yeah, 66
Oh, but he's not
is
going to do
already.
it.
66
He's going to
is
go,
already.
oh, he's doing the other Dragon.
Yeah, 66 is already a ridiculous amount. You know, you don't with transcendent characters having very high stats. It usually means that your espers with stat bonuses on them are not nearly as valuable as they would be with lower stats here. And this is a Mount Zozo play. I wonder if he's going to also do regular Zozo with having access to YMPC Vanish X Zone. You could actually remove the boss at the top of the Zozo Tower, rather, Dataluma. So you don't even have to fight the boss to get that reward either. So we'll see if he does that. Gaahr, I believe, picked up his Strago. So he's at character number 5 as well. And Jexvrok is about 2/3 of the way done with Elite River, right? This is the last leg.
Yeah.
Correct. And Boo is about to enter the camp as well. So following Gaar's footsteps.
Here's the thing about Let the River taking forever. InfiniteFluff is like on his like 3rd almost check now since Jex started this. It's taken Jex a while to get down this river.
Yeah, but he's gonna have so many more levels, I think, than InfiniteFluff will, and that will snowball you later on.
I don't know. I mean, Fluff has 600 HP on the Saban versus Jex is 300.
Oh, suplexing the dragon, very nice. Not every day you see that. Ooh, locked at 22 HP. So this is one of the things about having a Valiant Knife user with Finality. You sort of get these, sphincter clenching moments like this where Locke is in danger of dying and not coming back. All right.
He gets it anyways there.
Yeah, I was mistaken. Gaahr did not get Strago. He must have reset out of Imperial Camp because somebody must have died at some point along the way.
Oh,
no.
Goodness. This means Let the River is a very bad choice. Spicy
Ooh.
chicken, smoke on the water here.
Yuck.
So I'll go with the experience egg on Saban to get it the other way now. You're gonna have to definitely earn blitzes today. Rooster, you want to take that one back now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. I do like the use of the Thunder Shield there because this is the time to throw everything you've got.
And that's a tough fight there at the top of the screen for Gaahr there. Some undead enemies here. Is using the Revivify to get through him, though.
Yeah,
Who's about
that's
to face the
great.
same thing here.
That's great heads-up gameplay knowledge there from Gaahr, knowing what enemies are undead and what aren't. Fluff picking up his 3rd Esper. So he's definitely trudged out ahead in terms of progression. And he's got some decent levels underneath him. He's 24 on Saban and 20 on the others. So he's staying ahead of scaling, right?
Yeah, and that new Esper, I believe, had Bolt 3, so saw him drop it on Terra right there. So Terra's going to have what she needs. Bolt and Ice 3.
Yeah, definitely nice 3 for the Tier 2 Kefka. Gaahr did pick up Strago there with tools, so that's going to be a no-go on that one.
So Jexvrok resetting out here. I hope he's not stuck. On Elite River, you can get stuck if you save at a save point and don't have another save file. So hopefully this is, hey, I know that Poltergeist is at the end of this. Let me regroup and figure out what to do here, and I can get through it. Meanwhile, Fluff doing Search the Skies, I believe.
I mean, I know he got some early levels here, but he doesn't really have much for options of fighting here.
Yeah, meanwhile, Boo gonna show us what's in Doma Castle, or excuse me, Gaahr gonna show us what's in Doma Castle here.
Boo's getting shoved out of the way, and it's a Yeti.
Oh, the Yeti's defending the castle, huh? Well, we're not going to pick up that one either.
Oh boy.
Oh, goodness
No, but that is
gracious.
the 6th character.
Well,
I don't know if you guys saw what that was, but that was
InfiniteFluff
Magimaster.
found the right way around here.
Yeah, that was Magimaster there at the Doma Siege, so that was an instant reset from Gaahr.
InfiniteFluff out to a huge lead. 4 characters, 4 Espers. Already level 21 on Terra. Level 26 on Sabin.
Do we have... The skip is at 9 characters, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
I don't know if we'll see it or not, because we do have to get, like,
And
4 dragons.
also, Fluff just picked up Fire 3, too.
So we
Oh,
have...
breaking Thunder Shields?
We have
So
Trey
Fluff wants to
Fuego,
use
Trey
magic.
Halo,
They've
and
got
Trey... Trey Lightning. I don't know what lightning is in Spanish. My Spanish is not
Oh,
that good, I guess.
no. Down goes Sabin on Jexvrok's screen. He is just thinking about it. Should I reset? And he does. Breaking the Thunder Shields, trying to get through this fight. And let's keep an eye on his reload here and see if he has another save file.
Yeah, that's one of the
He
dangers.
does have a
of
second
doing-
save file.
Yeah, that's one of the dangers of doing one of these checks where there's a boss at the end. Normally you think to yourself, hey, I'm going to level myself up a lot so I could defeat whatever the boss is at the end. But in this particular case, Spicy Chicken is a rough one. One of the end game bosses.
Well, and this one's especially difficult because, unlike some of the others, like Floating Continent or whatever, you can't just bail out. If you get on Floating Continent and you're like, oh, I can't beat what's that Atma spot, you can leave. Here, you're stuck.
Boo is free falling here. Gaahr, InfiniteFluff finding all the good bosses leader here in Cave
Another
in the Veld.
suplex.
Dunking him on his head. Well,
So for
Gaar's
those of you at
actually
home,
in
that
the
is 2
World of Balance train.
suplexes for InfiniteFluff.
Gaahr
Yeah,
with an
so
interesting check here doing the World of Balance train. It is peekable. So
Yeah, so it was an Esper at the front of the train. I'm assuming that he looked at the Esper, saw the spells on it, and was like, yes, please, I would like this, and wants to continue. Thankfully, Boo has enough levels for this tentacle fight. When it's usually at low levels, it gets a bit rough because their grabs will grab you for a static, 70 to 50 HP per turn. Nice use of the Doom spell there as well.
Jax goes down again, losing Gaahr on the fight. Resets again. Let's see if he gives up on this check or not. Spicy Chicken defending the right to have blitzes in this game. Yeah, he's going to try again, round 4.
Yeah, at what point...
Yeah, I have to.
Get in the
Well, I was gonna say he's going through the save menu pretty quickly, but from what I saw, if I didn't blink, it's at level 3, so that very well might be before he did any of the other checks that he's done. Even before this, so it might be he's just sitting there going like, hey, I'd be losing a lot of progress in addition to the time I've lost here.
Yeah.
Oh god, all the other runners still having the bad luck of fighting the bad bosses. Gaahr with Doom opening up with killing Lock here. And that is going to be a reset for Gaahr.
Ugh. Boo, unfortunately, finding one of the 3 or 4 dead checks in the game with a red cap at the end of Barren Falls. That's, I mean, it's a nice accessory for your Valiant Knife user to have, right? Because it gives you a 25% bump in HP. But when you're doing this with no free progression, you really want to see, either the characters or the stones.
Yeah, and I like InfiniteFluff here going to Narsh to get the dragon, because they do need 4 dragons in addition to the check here. Plus, since it's open
It's just
world,
another
you
thing
can then do the
suplex.
Umaro check as well. So
InfiniteFluff on fire here, casting Life 3 on Lock to make sure he stays alive, even though if he gets knocked out with the low HP total here. And also, Terra having Cure 3, so we have all the healing we need already on Terra.
Yeah, that's a nice 1-2 punch. Infinite Fluff showing us suplex percent of Worlds Collide here. Getting all the bosses that you could just dunk on their heads. Yeah, so having Life 3 is really nice peace of mind with your Valiant Knife user that we talked about. Gaahr, meanwhile,
Running while frozen. How's that even possible?
Frozen. Yeah. That's an interesting one. He's sliding down the oh wow, an offering too that Dragon dropped. Very nice to go with the Valiant.
Oh, are you kidding me? Magic power +2 on Ramu. That's going to get slapped on Sabin with the Experience Egg going after Bum Rush. Wow, Infinite Fluff is definitely not looking back here.
Boo picking up his Unicorn Esper from Esper Mountain, as appropriate, and we're going to see Gaahr and Jexvrok trying to take on their statue bosses again.
Meanwhile, Fluff's going to go for the Tri-Touch here.
Both difficult fights. Yeah, so he can do Tri-Talk into Yeti Cave, and then he'll be pretty good. Boo, meanwhile, is in one of the Figaro caves.
Figaro Balance. This is going to be the vanilla tunnel armor here. Infinite Fluff facing Niles and Fraser Crane here at the top of Narsh and World of Ruin.
Yeah, this fight can get interesting because of their physical attacks. If one of your characters is facing the wrong way, then it does double the damage. So the Cranes fight is usually not so bad unless they counterattack one of your characters at low health, and in a permadeath seed, that might be awful because you would win the fight, but you're losing a character. And that is a dead check, but since it's an Illumina, is it really a dead check?
Okay, Rooster, if you're running this, is your brain like exploding now if you're Infinite Fluff?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Infinite Fluff has got to feel in fantastic shape, basically. The only dead check you've gotten was an Illumina. Everything else you've gotten, you've gotten good items from the dragons. You've got to feel like you're in really good shape here.
Flame
Especially
shield?
since I don't know if we... Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we covered this up front, but I believe the way, since this is Heat 2 of 3, I believe you just need to finish, is it top 4 for this
is Heat 1 of 2.
Week?
No, this is Heat 1 of 2. We're losing half the race here.
Right. This is the second round of the final table, where we have 8 competitors and only 4 advance to the third round.
Yeah, so what I mean is you have to feel like, okay, I'm in good shape to at least advance to the final round here.
Oh, finally a tough boss for Infinite, quote-unquote tough, being Air Force, as Jexvrok is going for round 7 and then saying, nope, never mind.
Yeah,
well, it was tough until
Gaahr also gave up on Train.
6,000 damage.
Yeah, so if Gaahr gave up on Train, he's back at 1 Esper then. And we'll see what the Yeti was holding. I'm pretty sure it was an Esper.
It was a carbuncle.
Okay. There's another Esper for Fluff.
30 minutes in, Infinite Fluff over halfway through what they need. They only need 2 more characters, 4 more Espers, and 2 dragons.
Yeah, so Boo is heading into a 3-part check, Magitech Factory. So the first 2 checks are only Esper or item, and the last is guaranteed to be progression, but you do need to defeat 3 forced encounters and 2 bosses, so we'll see if Boo decides to go all the way through to the end of the Magitech Factory, or if he short circuits out before that point. Interestingly enough, none of our other runners yet have had dragon kills. I mean, Jex has been stuck rowing on the river, but our other runners don't seem like they are too interested in going towards the dragon type checks. So 8,000 is what the Zen Thief is in the World of Ruin.
Oh my
so
God.
it's even cheaper there.
Well, the hits keep coming as Boo finds Toilet Atma, Gaahr finds Senor Behemoth, and
Ugh.
had a reset there.
And he
Oh, he
chose the
loaded the
wrong
wrong
save
save
file.
file.
Back on the train.
Uh, so Arusta, when you are fighting, you're fighting difficult places. Like if you're at Jexvrok and Guard places where you ran into a boss, like where would you go to catch up on time? Because you know you got to be losing time at this point. Like where would you go, especially in open world?
I think this is where you. I mean, if Jexvrok wasn't already on Leet River, this might be a case where you do something like Leet River. I kind of like Gaahr doing Serpent Trench here. Like, I think you make a play where you're like, I want to do an out of the way check and hope it's something really good that my opponents don't have, or that the seed routes you there or something.
Like a Fenrir or Golem or something like that, or
Yeah, like a Fenrir or a Golem or
A
a character
character that
character
the
with a
other
really
runners
good
don't
ability
have.
or something. Because at this point you have to be feeling like, hey, I'm way behind. I'm not going to necessarily make it up by making the plays that everybody else is making.
well, Jexvrok does force his way through the spicy chicken. Does lose Edgar in the process, so Edgar is now down and out for the count. Unfortunately, getting an Aura Lance out of that, which Edgar could have used with
Yeah,
his jump
especially
ability,
with
not able
Gnome.
to use it now.
Yeah, that is really awful. But at this point, if you don't get past that, then maybe he's hoping that none of the other runners went and finished Leet River, so him having access to Bum Rush early will be his breakthrough point, because Bum Rush is a ridiculously powerful ability, even at low levels, just because it ignores defense and it's got very high battle power. So
InfiniteFluff going for a World of Ruin Dragon here, Opera House at 4 characters, 5 Espers.
yeah, Boo, I believe, also picked up a couple of Espers there, so I think he's at 5 and 5, but I'm
Woo!
not quite sure. We'll see if he shows us the menu. Skulldurgan for InfiniteFluff. Weak to Fire and Pearl, of which Aura Bolt is a Pearl-based ability, and Fire 3 doing almost max damage there.
Yeah, I think Fluff's in go mode.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean,
I'm missing Terra for him. So he's at 5 characters.
And an Atma weapon, which is very nice for if it chooses to use it, because I don't think Fluff got the other one that everybody else found in the cave to the sealed gate.
Reset out of Magimaster from Boo.
Yeah, Jax is going to head to the top of Narsh here, World of Ruin, while InfiniteFluff is heading into Doma Dream Castle. We haven't seen that yet. Good move out of them. They could get an Esper. You could get a character and 2 Espers out of this, leaving them with only 2 Espers needed in the Dragon.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to do something like Doma Dream, where it's several checks back to back, this is about your last chance, because you don't want to get it when you've already gotten what you need in one category. Here, you
Super
still
Ball
need an Esper and
and
characters.
an Excalibur. Come on,
Nice
man.
little sync going on the bottom half of the screen there. Love to see it.
Like, okay, InfiniteFluff is just swimming in riches right now. I mean, my God.
Super Balls are not exactly very useful at this point in the run, right? They're
No,
useful.
but I
the
mean,
first
still,
match.
I mean, he's just hitting it all the right way still.
And Excalibur is an sword. I mean, it's got good battle power and it's a good stat stick, but unless you're throwing it, it's kind of meh.
Okay, we get Magimaster Jr. here for Boo and InfiniteFluff here in the Dream, while Jexvrok goes to the top of the map for dueling Niles and Fraser Cranes. Gaahr still swimming with the fishes, getting to the end here.
Yeah, he'll finally be able to pick up that second Esper. He had to when he did the Phantom Train, and then he reset out, and then he went to another battle and reset out, so it feels good to get on the board. If you're in that position, guys, what do you do when you haven't gotten progression in a while? Do you tend to sort of go towards certain faster, quicker checks, or do you sort of immerse yourself in something longer, perhaps, in the hopes that your other runners don't go there?
I mean, I think it depends. In something like open world,
Wow.
I feel like it's a little different. If it was closed world, I mean, there'd definitely be an argument for doing stuff that you don't think your opponent might do. But I
Mhm.
actually thought about it since I don't know if there's that much to be gained by, hey, let's try to be countercultural here.
I usually
That
go
makes sense.
for like grouper checks, like go to Narsh for because we're an open world, we can hit Welk into double Moogle into Kefka Narsh checks, or I would go to like Dream, which is where Boo and InfiniteFluff are, try to get like a whole bunch of checks that get multiple reward areas together, so I can build up my Espers, then grab a dragon, boost my power up from there, and then I feel like I'm back in the game a little bit again. By
All
the
right,
way, that's a
so
Moogle for the character for Fluff and Boo, so that is a possible one character, two Espers here.
and also there was Fenrir was the first Esper reward for
Oh.
Cyan's Dream, so we now have calmness protection for both of the bottom runners here, which is really nice. This way you don't have to stick with casting Life 3 on every single member of your party like I did when I did this run.
Yeah, Fluff is just getting all the good stuff, and he's in our chat, by the way. Hey, Fluff.
So what's our YouTube sub countdown at now, Saberwolf? I think you
We
have the
need
latest totals.
14. It's 14 more. I'll get an update right now, but
Yeah, so if you're watching this on Twitch, thanks for hanging out here and continue to watch. But maybe in another tab, go subscribe on our YouTube
yeah,
channel
14.
because we're 14 away from 1,000, which is a pretty cool milestone. So check it out. And it's a dabbing Yeti, so you know what to do, boys and girls in the chat. There we go. Jex, meanwhile, does get out of the world of Ruin Narsh, and it looks like him and Gaahr will say, hey, you guys on the bottom of the screen, we know how to sync too. And they're going to go do some Narsh stuff on the top-hand side of the screen.
Fluff is still dunking on people with a suplex.
Yeah, so that's a suplex count of 4, I believe.
And Fluff actually passes Blue here at the end of the dream here.
Thankfully, Jex is going to get another character, and that's Setzer here for Moogle defense.
Yeah, and I mean, at the bottom here, you can clearly see the benefit of having more levels that Fluff just flew through that fight faster than Boo has.
Now, just to remind everybody, even though we got through Dream, we do not learn the sword text from doing Dream. So for those that are using Gaahr still, we are not going to learn the sword text this way. You have to do it through levels. And it is a double Esper character, my goodness.
Yeah, so I guess the question here now is if you're Fluff or if you're Boo, who's not that far behind either, where are you going from here?
Well, we've only got 2 more Espers to go, right? So let's go to our let's go to some checks that reward either Esper item, right? So think about like Search the Skies or Zen Thief, which we already bought, right? So those are the ones that I would tend to gravitate towards, or ones that you can peek, because you don't want to end up with a reward that you don't need.
Well, Fluff is now going to do the Sabin learning the the rest of the Bum Rush ability there. So he did not go down Let the River, which means didn't have to run to the Spicy Chicken. Is still going to get Bum Rush out of this.
Yeah, this cutscene always feels bad when you're watching it, but I usually think it's worth it because of how good Bum Rush is. Right? I think this is like a 40 to 45 second cutscene. It feels like forever when you're actually doing it. but it does give you one of the best abilities in the game.
Especially with transcendent characters and earrings.
So that is Setzer for Jexy.
Oh, InfiniteFluff says he has 9 Espers right now.
Yeah, if that's the case, then let me correct that.
We didn't have a tracker for you, bud.
And that is another Esper there for Gaahr.
So
Ragnarok at Lone Wolf.
this is Kefka Tower entry at 4250.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to be doing a dragon inside of KT, right? Because I'm pretty sure he only has 3.
Well, he loaded two runners on the left side, so it looks like he's going to do the left side dragon, and he's going to split the party on top of that. So he's not double backing, going back in. He's just going to go full bore right now. I'm going Kefka now. I'm sorry, we're not pro as you are, InfiniteFluff, for not using trackers, okay?
Yeah, no, that's I'm supposed to be tracking the race, so that was my fault for missing the...
No, he doesn't use a tracker, period.
No, I know, but I'm supposed to be tracking. I'm not doing my job well.
Okay, I gotta ask you guys, Aroosta, he's level 33. Yeah, I know you have a lot of power and items and stuff like that, but you're versing things that are gonna be level 47. Do you still feel under-leveled here?
I would feel a little under-leveled, and knowing that I need to get a dragon, what I probably would have considered in this is just overloading the right party, the party 3, so you get this boss, you get the dragon, and then just, bailing out from there. Because that gets probably everybody, 4 to 5 levels, gets you in probably a better shot. What would you do, Schwantz?
Yeah, I'm overloading party 3 and defeating this boss and the dragon as well, especially if I need it. Because you get levels on everybody in your party, and you kill this first boss just that much faster, right? Even though it is slightly more backtracking, it is quicker. I think the time that you waste doing the double walk is negated by how quickly you kill that boss. If it's a more difficult boss. That Illuma, not really a difficult boss though.
Yeah,
So
but even
not
then you
exactly
might be
the best
negating the
example
time. Yeah, but even then you might be negating the time either on the dragon or just your statue bosses that everybody's a little stronger.
Well, here is that dragon number 4 here for InfiniteFluff with Locke's group is going to be getting it. Meteo coming out from Stormy Dragon.
Yeah, I think that's what the Rage ability scales up to. So in Worlds Collide, we have this concept called elemental scaling, and it's based on what level the bosses are. They will scale their abilities in the same category. So now that InfiniteFluff is getting up there in progression, his enemies are going to be much more difficult. They are going to be 38? No, higher than that. 38 plus 19, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's
Kefka
probably
there.
be capped out at 50, 55, something like that. Boo, unfortunately, finding the bad news, his second dead check.
Oh no, he unlocked Kefka a while ago because he did the... No. That was weird. Didn't say he unlocked Kefka.
It's when you kill a dragon, it says it at the end of the dragon battle.
Oh, okay.
It's not on like the next screen.
Oh, usually it's on the next screen.
Yeah, it's one of the quirks of how the objective system works, right?
Hmm.
Jex deciding against Kefka at Narsh here? Or is he in the world of ruin? I don't think he is. Yeah, he just did Lone Wolf, so... Not doing Kefka at Narsh because he only has 4 characters in his party, and really one of them's just the corpse of Edgar, so...
Yeah, so he'd be doing Kefka and Narsh with only 2 characters. which we know is leader. So he would have made it through it fine, but
Gaahr picking up another Esper there at South Figaro Cave. Boo, meanwhile, is going to pick up his his 8th or 9th Esper here at the Yeti Cave. And then he's got some dragons to go kill.
Yeah, it looks like Jex is going to do the dried meat check that everybody else did a little earlier and get another character, which will be huge because can finally get rid of dead Edgar and replace it with something.
Well, the corpse of Edgar isn't in his party anyway because he wants to do the belt check, and you need to have 3 or less people in your party to do that. So that's
what, the corpse counts as a person though?
Well, it's technically a slot, right?
Yeah.
So Gaahr can't join your party because there is... Oh, God. This is the problem with doing the Velt late, is that this is what happens sometimes.
But Jexvrok is the only one that does have Bum Rush available to them as an actual skill going through the rest of these checks here. And Setzer actually has Magitech.
Yeah, Magitech is decent. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to unlock all of the Magitech tree, but even just having Heal Force is one of the best single target heals in the game, so that's always nice to have. And he will be happy with another character. And Rutro, level check here for InfiniteFluff. Oh no!
Well, he wasn't using Mog anyways. Oh, but Doom comes out. That's a no-no.
Oh, that is awful.
Well,
F's
now we have our
chat
first.
for InfiniteFluff. Listen, everybody else in this group ran into hiccups. That's his first hiccup in the seed. So
49 minutes in Kefka's tower, he finally gets a hiccup. Oh, but he didn't save. Oh, wait. Okay, he did save. Okay.
Yeah, he saved after killing Dataluma, but he's got to do this walking again, which never feels fun.
Oh, he's got to do the dragon
The
again,
walking
too.
and the dragon, too.
Yuck.
Okay, so
Speaking of dragons, Gaahr killing his first, getting the offering. Yeah, well, hopefully he doesn't get medioed again.
Yeah,
and at least now he knows that Doomgaze is there, right? So I guess question for you, Arusta, if you know Doomgaze is there, do you still go and trudge on forward with your middle party, or maybe do you try and fight one of the other bosses to get a save point so you don't have to do this backtracking again?
I think I take my 2-person party and fight one of the other bosses. Though I guess the argument for Doomgaze would just be that since you know it's coming, you could just make sure you're not a level of 5, but in a permadeath seed like this, even if you get past the first one like that, if you get doomed, you don't want to lose your lock. So yeah, I think I go see if I can find a save for statue boss to take first.
Yeah, I mean, the rub is you could always get an even worse boss, right? Because he hasn't seen all of the nasty bosses that we have seen. He hasn't seen Poltergeist or Magimaster or
Goddess. Nobody's seen Goddess yet, so
or Doom at the Phantom Train, right? So
well, I'm gonna do this with the first person who unlocks it. So InfiniteFluff, technically you unlocked first, so we'll give you the good old Kefka unlock here. Technically unlocked it at about 43 minutes into the race, so pretty good. It's too bad we don't have a memento ring, I guess, for Fluff. Because that would prevent you from getting doomed, right, Arista?
I believe it would. I don't think Fluff found one. So yeah.
Boo KT entry at 51.
There was a safety bit floating around somewhere. I know Boo has one. I don't know if Fluff found it.
That's right, safety would help you too. Jexvrok is plotting around here looking for the peekable checks here. We'll talk to the girl here in Moblez. Find out it is Cyan. It is a character. Again, Edgar for him is dead. Well, Gaahr picks up an Esper there in the carving. That'll be Esper number 7 for them.
Yeah, and Jex does still need a 6th character, so of course you take Cyan here.
Yeah, so the problem comes when we get to Kefka's tower is Edgar is a corpse, but you can't bring him back and you can't put a Moogle charm on him. So that either means that he has to go one of his parties with a solo character, and that solo character has to wear a Moogle charm, or he finds a 7th character to go into Kefka's tower with. So that'll be an interesting decision that we'll see what happens with Jex when he decides to make that decision. Boo, meanwhile, into Kefka's tower with his 6 characters and 9 Espers. I believe he only has 2 dragons, but I might have miscounted. So we'll see what he decides to do. If he did only have 2 dragons, there is a way that you could fight both of the dragons in KT with your preferred party. You just stand on the switches with all 3 of your groups, and it will set the floor down so that you can walk backwards through the tower a little bit. Thankfully, this is a difficult boss. You know, Arusta mentioned go try another boss. So this is another boss, but InfiniteFluff thankfully has his party with Terra using Bolt 3 for almost max damage, and Edgar with that big beefy sword. So very nicely done. A very difficult boss, but the right party comp will get him past there. And it's Dullahan on the back end of this Moblez fight for Jexy.
I do want to point out something from last round, because the flag set from this round versus last round didn't change too much other than the scaling changed a little bit and we added dragons along on top of it. And the average finishing time for all of our runners was around 125. So we do have a target time in the back of our heads where we know what the time we need in order to get to beat Kefka at is around 120, 130. So we'll see. I mean, InfiniteFluff's on pace to like break the is easily going to break the 115 barrier at this rate, depending on how he gets through Doomgaze here. So yeah, our runners do know about the time they need right about now.
Unfortunately, Boo gets his Sabin frozen, and hey, why not throw one of those Super Balls we found in Cyan's dream? Strago's not doing much of anything else. Oh god.
Or neither one of them can do anything.
Wow. You best be sitting around waiting. It's time for one of Boo's patented bathroom breaks during this run. This would be the ideal time to do it. Mog dropping like it's hot. Meanwhile, InfiniteFluff gonna see and hope that Doomgaze behaves nicely. I wonder if he has any relics that would prevent Doom, like a memento ring or a safety bit.
Yeah, we were talking about that before, and he doesn't. But doesn't get through the fight.
Yeah, fortunately did not see Doom cast, so it didn't really matter.
Sometimes it's just luck of the draw.
Yeah, and
Boo is able to get through the Ice Dragon.
Yeah, Locke has that Valiant Knife, so you almost would have wanted W-Win to hit him at that point.
Ooh, Boo's Dragon, after that fight, gets a Dragon Horn for his Edgar.
Yeah, at this point, I think Edgar's swinging the beefy swords. I don't think we're doing jump. But yeah. Boo does love his jump strats, so we'll see if he decides to pivot away.
He decided not to, though. He's kept the experience egg on.
I did not even see what that second boss was for InfiniteFluff at the Poltergeist statue. It's
Ultros.
Already gone.
Oh, it's Ultros? Well, I mean, that makes up for going through Doomgaze there.
Jex and Gaahr grabbing a pair of Espers there from both Search the Skies and Mount Zozo. Looks like Jex is going to take on his second dragon here at the Opera House.
And the statue boss for Goddess will be Infrared and Shiva.
Not a problem with Bum Rush.
No.
This would be a problem with just our offensive options, though, because Ifrit is just weak to ice and throws out fire, and Shiva is weak to fire and throws out ice, right? If you have just physical attacks, Ifrit will switch to Shiva and back and forth and back and forth. But Bum Rush doesn't matter, so that is GG for that fight, and Fluff is going to be stepping on the switches at under 60 minutes, I think, depending upon how fast his menuing is here, which is incredible time. Second dragon down for Jexvrok.
Gaahr might be about ready if this Search the Skies pays off. I think Gaahr still needs another character, but should be in pretty good shape to get in soon. Boo going nicely through the tower as well, so should be starting to see some other finishers soon here too.
I don't know if Gaahr has Setzer or not. I know that he did Worlds of Balance Narsh, but I don't know if he did Moogle Defense, which is where he would have gotten Setzer, right? So this might be go mode for him if I missed him doing Moogle Defense, and we'll see what the message pops up on the screen with. 58-30-ish for InfiniteFluff, stepping up to Final Kefka. So interestingly enough, in an auto mute seed, you kind of take for granted all of the things that you could do to nullify parts of Final Kefka. So we'll see how he navigates this. I believe his Terra does have a white cape on, is using magic, so hopefully we've got the right spells for her to nullify some of the parts of this final boss, including Fenrir, right, to do combat protection.
Yeah, and Fluff did double check before entering the boss that Terra has Fenrir equipped.
And Edgar's swimming the Illumina. Sabin has the Bum Rush. But the problem with Bum Rush right now is that you don't want to hit the wrong target here, because you want to kill Long Arm first, then the head, and then the fist. And when Bum Rush, you can't really target what you want. It kind of makes it a little harder. But we do have Potent Espers on, which means we can cast this Fenrir at every single tier nonstop. And it looks like she also has Economizer on, so everything's being casted at 1 MP.
Yeah, well, that's one way to make sure that you won't run out of MP. So very nice
polarity
from Fluff there, realizing that multi-summon is on. Because normally if you see somebody cast Fenrir on tier 1, you're like, wait, you screwed up. Not this time, though. Boo, meanwhile, has got his 6 characters, 9 Espers, and 4 dragons, and we'll see what happens when he runs into Doomgaze.
Wow, Locke doing about almost 20,000 damage there.
Ick. Another dead check in Magitech Factory on MTech 1 with a Magus Rod. So I think we've seen all of the dead checks in this seed.
There goes tier 1 for InfiniteFluff. For Rooster, want to do tier 2?
Yeah, so tier 2, the biggest things here are if you have mute, you always want to mute the one in the back, magic. I don't know if Fluff does. I don't think I've seen them cast it. You can doom the one in the center, the looks like girl with a red dress, and then the tiger head in front does all sorts of nasty stuff. So if you don't have anything, if you don't have doom or mute, you want to get that one first because it does zombie and freezing and all sorts of stuff you don't like to deal with. And the other thing I think we will see again at some point is that the blue guy who's flexing, when he dies, he does 10 hits, and since they've got Fenrir, probably get that cast again if it wears off.
Another Esper for Jexvrok, and it looks like Gaar's going back for Magimaster because he knows where his 6th character is. So that's really smart on him to sort of leave this character for last. But does he have Berserk learned? Can he get past Magimaster?
I haven't seen anybody learn Berserk here, so...
I know... Maybe not. Maybe not. Unfortunately, Boo, running into Doomgaze, his Edgar died, which means he's got to do this dragon fight again. You hate to see it happen. Meanwhile, Master over for Gaahr, so we're going to pull out some defense-ignoring things like Pummel. The Valiant Knife will still work. Unfortunately, the Illumina will not, so only about half of his party is going to be decent at damaging here. Sword Tech 6 will also work. Sword Tech 1 ignores defense as well. It's a pretty beefy stunner there from Gaahr. Stunner is based on your magic power. And uh-oh, we got 10 hits, and Edgar... Oh, the clutch block on Edgar there. Edgar was almost dead. If he actually took that hit instead of blocked it, he would have fell over. So, very fortunate there. Pulling out the Atma weapon Gaahr is for this fight. And yeah, Master just has such high physical defense that swinging even a big sword will not hurt him very much. And thankfully, Gaahr puts away Master, gets his Yeti, and he'll be on his way into Kefka's tower as soon as everybody runs away.
Yeah, and so Gaahr is at 3 dragons, so going to have to do like what we've seen from both Fluff and Boo, take a dragon on the way up. Should not have any issues with the dragons, though.
Yeah, the only issue will be with the boss that's after the dragons, with Doomgaze, as InfiniteFluff gets past tier 2, onto tier number 3 here, and thankfully we have a bunch of physical offense, because Girl will absorb every single elemental magic in the game, and will also heal and revive both parts of the boss. So that could be a problem if you have a magic-heavy team, but thankfully we do not here. And we also have access to Fenrir, which will negate the death counter of the other part of Tier 3. So I don't think we should have difficulty here as long as we don't get hit with double media, which is never fun.
Yeah, and I believe, does Life 3 persist through tiers like this?
Yes, it will. Unless unless it gets dispelled. The problem is Tier 2, right? Magic's death counter, he will cast up to 2 dispels, so if you get hit with dispel, that takes your Life 3 status away. So what I usually like to do is I usually like to save my Life 3 casts until the start of this phase, just in case it gets negated. And oh, there goes Locke, but here comes Locke back again. He is tub thumping, he gets knocked down, but he gets up again. And Terra is dangerously close to getting a condemned countdown go off here. I wonder if she has Life 3 on herself. Now she will.
Yeah, Fluff clearly making use of that Life 3, has it under control here.
Meanwhile, both Jex and Gaahr into the tower at kind of the same point, so in spite of Jexvrok's huge early game struggles, he is still, you know, within striking distance here.
Yeah, one little piece of tech here we're seeing on InfiniteFluff's side, if you're watching and wondering, hey, why are they not attacking? Because once you knock the first person below 10,000, that's when you start getting Meteo and Train and other those nasty stuff. So clearly trying to just hold damage until getting back up the Life 3s, the Fenrir, getting in good position.
Yeah, excellent point. It's sort of like a dance, this final fight. It's you got to make sure you hit them enough, but also not too much. Alright, Jack's taking out his third dragon here as Gaahr is preparing for the Dataluma fight. Out comes Calmness, and with Fenrir, that'll whiff on Terra, and he's on to the final fight with Kefka with his entire party left intact, which is really nice to see. A couple of close calls there, but thankfully Life 3 comes in to save the day.
Yes, you want to walk us through Final Kefka's strategy here a little bit, Schwantz?
Yeah, so Final Kefka has 60,000 HP. he will cast Fallen One on his first turn unless you deal more than 30,000 damage. So Fallen One will reduce your party to 1 HP. So I know that Gaahr has a Mega Elixir from Magimaster, and I think we found one in a treasure chest somewhere. I don't know if InfiniteFluff has it or not, but that's the easiest way to heal your party. However, I think Terra has Cure 3, and that's probably going to be good enough for him. Locke with a Valiant Knife will actually like Fallen One. And it looks like he's already blown past that 30,000 HP threshold. So that means that Kefka can counter with either Hyperdrive or Havoc Wing, which are the strongest magical and physical single target attacks in the game. And there goes Terra, but she's coming back. No, she's not coming back. F's for Terra in the chat. Pour one out for her. InfiniteFluff's waiting here because he doesn't want to get another counterattack. Because you can have an Ultima come out if Kefka's under 10,000 HP, but that is going to do it. Boom, boom, boom. Crack, pow. InfiniteFluff time is on the first flash, and I believe he is at a 107 and change. Let me get the official time here in the chat. 108.19 is his official time for this first. So he is in first place right now in the clubhouse. So he will be moving on unless the other 4 members have a ridiculously good time. So congratulations to InfiniteFluff for finishing first in this heat. And I
Fluff,
think
you're in the
Boo
chat.
is...
We'll let you jump in here if you want to chit chat.
Yeah, so Boo is our next runner up to the Poltergeist statue, finally getting past Doomgaze here, as Jexvrok and Gaahr are taking on their 4th dragon here simultaneously. Yeah, so very nicely done final Kefka fight there from InfiniteFluff. His lock was just doing beefy amounts of damage with the amount of levels that he had. So really nice to see.
Yeah, and I believe this would actually
for both of them. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I believe that 108 would actually be faster than any of the times for the previous week. So very, very impressive. As I believe we are joined here by InfiniteFluff. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. So I know you've been watching. So like just in general, how are you feeling as you went along with that seed?
It felt like I was just kind of waiting for the ball to drop. Everything was going right, and I was just waiting for something to go wrong.
Yeah, you seem to avoid some of the most glaring pitfalls, namely, Poltergeist at the end of the Elite River, Magimaster at Doma, and you did get bit by Doomgaze there at the first part. I think that was your first sign of struggle there. Take us through sort of your decision making about your route in an open world seed here. Were you tempted to do Elite River with unlocking the 8 blitzes on Sabin, or did you have a different plan in mind?
I would tend towards Elite River, but I actually started, my first check was Returner's Hideout, and one of the first chests that I opened was an experience egg, so at that point I just immediately cut Elite River out of my route and dropped that onto Sabin.
Yeah, because then this way you could earn Bum Rush through level 42 and doing it that way. Oh man, both Gaahr and Jexvrok getting level 5 Doom.
Exactly.
Doomgaze just clapping everybody out here. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husbands. So when you did run into Doomgaze, right, you said you were waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it dropped then. How do you go about, recovering from something like that and keeping your poise throughout the rest of your run?
Well,
did you feel like you were really far ahead with your time?
I mean, you look at what you can possibly do. So, obviously I checked through my relics to see if I'd picked up a safety bit or had a memento ring or anything. I didn't, so basically at that point I was just going to minimize the time that I would lose each time that Doomgaze took me out. And so instead of running Locke straight up the middle, I switched over to Terra and Edgar and cleared their fight so that I could get a save point. That way, at worst, I only lose 30-45 seconds.
Yeah, I think that was the right call and a great move to pivot to that as well. And then talk us through a little bit about your party composition. You had 3 of your 4 characters were doing either physical offense or bum rush, and then you had Terra to be your caster. Is that usually how you've aligned your party in these sort of seeds, you know, from week 1 and some of the other practice runs you may have done?
Well, we had a seed a few weeks ago that almost everybody in the final party was untargeted damage. You just kind of had to hope for the best, and it was really stressful. So I actually, once I saw Terra, I saw the opportunity to get another magic user in place of Gaahr that didn't have to worry about the rages, and I didn't have to worry about just and then using the sword text. If I just need to use a fight, then the sword text, you can't choose your target either. So Gaahr had a pretty good lineup of skills, but at the same time, I kind of hated him because I couldn't control what he was doing.
Right. Which is why you short-circuited out of the Edgar loop. You decided not to go down to Ancient Castle. Was that your plan originally, was to, hey, let's hit up some of the checks that have dragons early on and see whatever rewards I can get there?
I definitely had that in mind, but I never had Ancient Castle as part of my route. Even if it is useful, there are faster places to fight dragons, and it is such a long walk to get down there and back out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I am a Edgar check hater, and it always proves me right. Whenever there are dead checks down there. Jexvrok's unfortunately losing Setzer in one of his grind fights is going to have to reset out there. Arusta, do you have other questions for InfiniteFluff on his run?
Not really. I mean, I think everything's been pretty well covered. I guess my only question going forward, with this time, it seems likely you're going to move on to the next phase. Is there any card in particular you would want to calm this out?
I would sleep comfortably with that time. Let's just put it that way.
Actually, I've mentioned it a few times. Boo loves to hate on open world, but the way that I plan on things with open world and the more restrictions that we have in place, the easier it is for me to know kind of where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do, because I have all the options available for me, and it's just a matter of what is the most efficient path through this.
And you actually picked open world in the first round.
I did, yeah. And Boo has dogged on it every chance since then.
Is there a particular card that you're hoping does not show up in in the next set of drafts?
Well, in Logomorph Lounge, by the end of it, we had done away with black magic and support magic entirely. So,
oh god.
With the no toys flag in place, if we were to get rid of the black magic, it would really create a tricky situation in finding enough damage output to get through the seed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did Stormy just cast Ultima?
Yep, that's what happened. Yeah, that's. Although you do have open world and no free progression that allows you to get, some of the more high tier items in the game, right? In this run, we ended up finding, Valiant Knife and Ragnarok and some other items, as some of the rewards. You're absolutely right. It would hinder sort of where we're going here, as a couple of Boo's characters are dangerously close to dying. They've been hanging on for dear life there. Anyway, yeah, so, Arusta, any other final questions for Fluff? Did I already ask you that? I'm sorry. It's getting late here.
You already did, but nah, that's fine. Yeah, just GG's again, Fluff, and looking forward to seeing you hopefully next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot for letting us broadcast you, and congrats on getting all the way here as well. It's crazy for somebody to be from the Lagamorph Lounge, which was a runner that either was eliminated in the qualifier or one of the other rounds, to now be sitting in first place so far in our heat. That's a great underdog story that everybody should be rooting for.
Yeah, Fluff. Fluff didn't qualify.
underdogs.
Actually, just to piggyback on what you're saying, Fluff did not even qualify. He went through the whole lounge to get here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so Boo on to final Kefka here, as Jex hopefully now has sorted his party out after killing his dragon again. Gaahr, meanwhile, did take down Doomgaze, I believe, because he's on Ifrit Shiva there.
Yep.
So hopefully he'll be getting up to the statues soon. And we'll see what Boo does here.
So
in
Boo's
this
setup
final
was
fight.
pretty much like InfiniteFluff's, except for not having a bum rush there. Saban's running the VK, Locke is running the Illumina, and Edgar is running an Atma weapon.
And just in case anyone didn't see, and you'll see now, Saban is doing 9,000 damage because he's actually got a muscle belt on, so his maximum health is like 7,000. So there is a lot of bonus damage there.
Yeah, so with only 60,000 HP and doing almost 10,000 a swing, that means 2 turns, and Kefka goes down. Boo finishing up. Get your GGs in chat for him. His official time was 1:20:02. So he's currently in second place in our final table.
120 is a
Gaahr
pretty
steps
good
on the
time.
switches.
120 is a pretty good time. It was on the lower end of times from the previous round, because again, the flags didn't change too much. And 120, well, actually 120 would have put them in around 7th place, 6th or 7th place. So it is on the outside, unfortunately.
Well, remember, we added 4 additional dragons as a requirement to unlock Kefka, right? And those fights, they take some time, and they also factor in the routing of where you're going to go, right? It'll favor checks that have dragons in them, right? Like Mount Zozo or Ancient Castle, or, the Tritok Cliff and Yeti Cave, right? So those checks instantly become more appealing with the dragons in them. So
And Fluff just had a
sort of-
ridiculous pathing run. I mean, he did.
yes. So
Yeah.
it makes sense with him getting the experience egg in Returner's hideout and saying, you know what, I'm not going to do Elite River after all. So
Yeah, and I think the other thing, if you were finishing up at that 120 there with Booze, is you have to think that pretty much everybody is going to have a similar issue with Doomgaze. So, that's 5 minutes you lost, but that's 5 minutes everybody else is probably losing too.
Interesting. So on Gaahr, Gao is not using Fenrir. I don't know if you found it or not. Instead of electing to go with Raiden, who will help in the first 2 tiers by taking out Long Arm and Tools.
yeah, I like that Esper summon choice, especially with multi-summon being on, because you can use it, as you mentioned, on multiple tiers. Fenrir was in the first part of Cyan's Dream, which I believe only InfiniteFluff and Boo went to. I didn't see Jex or Gaahr go there. Jex opted for Magitech Factory as his 3-part check, and Gaahr did not go there at all. So, unfortunately,
Correct.
no Fenrir for them in this.
Yeah. Well, he does get to tier 2.
Correct. Neither Jexvrok or Gaahr have calmness protection. I think they may have the life 3, but I don't think they have any real calmness protection of Fenrir or Golem.
Yeah. Life 3 is definitely a form of calmness protection for sure. So Jex finally getting back now to Doomgaze with not having a level multiple of 5 and hopefully getting some good dice rolls. The first one was good. The second one dropped the digit there at the end. Oh no, Edgar's down for the count for Gaahr.
No, Doom, stop targeting Setzer.
Yeah, that's a reset for Jex. Then what do you do here if you're Gaahr? Edgar is down as you start tier 2. Do you just plow forward or do you take the reset here?
I mean, who's our backup guy? We have Strago in the backup. I don't know if he lived through that last fight he was in. Tools.
What do you think, Arusta? Are we resetting here, or are we just plowing through?
So if it was me, I'd probably be resetting. But if I'm Gaahr, looking at your time of 123, knowing what the times were last week, knowing that you have to be in the top half to move on, I completely understand why it looks like he's going forward, because you got to be feeling some time pressure of, man, I lost some time up front, that train, etc.
I mean, of the people in the party, of the 3, I mean, Locke, Edgar, Sabin are the damage front, while Gao's kind of doing the support here. I think Edgar was the lowest damage of the 3 here, or maybe even the 4 here. So I think we're just going to push on, because Edgar's kind of the low man here. Jex gets through the fight.
Very nice. Yeah, because it's a time loss of at least, a minute, right? Because you have to fight tier 1 again, and oh no, quarter into 10 hits. This could get very dangerous very fast. Thankfully, Gaaw is just a machine, absorbing hits like a ShamWow.
Yeah, I think Gaaw has 255 armor, and looks like Sabin's right up there with him.
Jeez. 10 hits, more like 10 flicks of the finger. Like, that was nothing.
Oh, and then power heal. Nice.
Showing off the tech there. Sword Tech 5 will heal your character. So that's very nice to see that out of him there.
And actually, he's and this is a casting Gaaw, so he actually has the earrings on too.
Yeah, I think this is Magic dead finally. Nope, life 3.
Okay. Just a tease. Oh, wasn't able to get the morph glitch though.
Yeah, permamorph is kind of a difficult thing to pull off, especially when you don't have access to spells like sleep or stop or quick that allow you to sort of cheese them out, right?
Yeah, and also especially when the Magic already has life 3 on it, because if Magic had died that first time, I think it would have been perfectly timed, but having to re-kill it, that's huge. Really messes with your timing and your planning there.
Let's see if Locke survives this. I mean, opener for sleep here.
Yeah, so I don't know if Gaahr casted life 3, but again, he had the issue where sleep will give you multiple dispels, so he's going to quickly get the life 3 off in time. Very nicely done. Meanwhile, Jex is sending solo Gaaw against
It's
Inferno.
everything but the body. Oh no.
Yeah, this is a beefy Gaaw here with Sword Tech 7. So yeah, that's why I would have put the EXP egg on Gaaw. You look at how much damage Sword Tech 7 is doing for Jex. But then again, that's why I'm here in the booth, and InfiniteFluff has already won this race, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
What do I
Gaaw
know?
does have the benefits of having transcendent characters plus 20 vigor from doing the 4 dragons. So his vigor is really high, and he has natural high vigor anyway, so...
Yep.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gaahr is doing filling up on life 3s. Should be set here. Oh, the one person that didn't have life 3. Oh, nope, you're good.
Oh, double calmness.
Thankfully, it wasn't double calmness on the same person. That is the most infuriating. So Gaahr is going up to tier 4. He doesn't have a lot of HP, but remember, folks, Kefka's first attack is Fallen 1, so it doesn't really matter how much HP you have going into this Kefka fight. He's going to have to use that Mega Elixir that he got from the Magimaster fight after Fallen 1. Or let Locke just swing away, and hopefully he ends the fight right then and there, right? Because he's got the Valiant Knife on.
Yeah, but we have a Yeti to mess things up.
So you do have a Yeti that'll get in the way.
So I do want to point out, Jexvrok, who did do the river in order to get the Bum Rush, was the only other person to have Bum Rush. So hit the switches at 1:28. That is 20 minutes after Fluff finished the race, and that was about the amount of time that he spent in Leda River. Granted, it was a spicy chicken, but there's your time difference right there.
Yeah. And it looks like, yep, down goes the Yeti. A little self-sabotage there on the part of Gaar's team.
Yeah, Yeti can sometimes put a hit in to trigger Kefka counter like Ultima for just to put it bluntly. So yeah, taking Yeti out is a necessary evil, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and there it is. A couple of Valiant Knife turns later, and boom, Gaahr has finished. His official time is
1:28:55.
That's what it is. So Gaahr currently in third place. Get your GGs for Gaahr. Also, go give our runners a follow while we're at it. We are watching a vodcast, so this technically is not a live race, but I'm sure that they will appreciate the follows. Also, while you're doing nice things for us, go check out our YouTube channel. We're almost to 1,000 subs. I think we're what, like 15 away, 14 away, something like that.
14 at the start of the broadcast.
Yeah, so go hit up our YouTube channel. All of our races are uploaded there. I will probably start doing more tutorial videos as I get more free time. But there's a lot of content that gets uploaded there. So go hit us up on YouTube and check that out.
Hey, Arusta, I learned something new.
What'd you learn today?
Long arm is weak to wind.
That is correct. That's why whenever you usually see Merton, it'll do quad 9s to the head because it's fire damage, quad 9s to the long arm because it's wind damage, and then a very high amount of damage to the fist. The fist is actually weak to water, so if you have somebody with throw, get your water edges and your tridents and all that fun.
Or your bubbly lures.
Pop the champagne.
Oh.
But not too soon.
Not too soon. No. You don't want to celebrate early.
Alright, so Jex also went with a party of mostly people hitting things with big sticks, and Gaahr with the magic. He kind of was forced to do that, right? Because he lost Edgar due to permadeath early on in the seed after grinding the poltergeist fight. I think that was the right decision to make.
Yeah, but we didn't really lose much because Edgar was just hitting a big stick of Illumina things for most of the runners. He replaces that with Cyan, who's using throw, doing about the same amount of damage. So the only difference
Cyan
is you're having a limited resource
really
of a
nice.
throw, but he's still doing the same amount of damage, so didn't really lose too much.
Yeah, throw is one of the better abilities in Worlds Collide, so that's a really nice find for him. When I did this as practice, I only picked up Cyan to get to skip, so I didn't even use him in my party.
What was your time?
I don't know if you guys have.
It was in the 120s, so it was. I think it was between Boo and Gaahr.
Go ahead, Arista.
I was gonna say, and I don't know if you guys have noticed what Jexvrok has in his inventory, but got plenty of stuff worth throwing, including a Ragnarok, which, since nobody's equipping, there's probably quad 9s right there if you ever need it.
Yeah, definitely saving that for Kefka or sleep there.
Yeah, he's got Gaahr with Sword Tech 7 pulling out over 10,000 damage. So in tier 3, we'll talk about the tech a little bit here. The one part of tier 3 will cast Meteor as a counterattack when he gets under 10,000 HP. So usually you want a high damage ability that will kill Sleep before he does too many Meteor counterattacks. So normally we want to see either very high damage or something over 10,000, so we know that it's going to kill Sleep in that very turn, and we'll get Calmness instead of Meteor, because we'll be prepared for Calmness. Meteor, on the other hand, may kill one of your characters, and that'll be bad, because then you have to start to recover, and as soon as you start to recover, that's when you open up the door for, hey, I'm just going to end up wiping your party now. Thanks for that.
Just want to remind everybody
Well,
that...
and it's especially in a finality seed because it's permadeath, so the recovery is a lot harder than it is normally.
Yeah,
definitely. I just want to remind everybody that the Blackjack Battle Royale final table round 2 continues. Please come back here on Saturday for the second heat, for Heat 2, to see who moves on and who has to go home, away from the table, away from the gambling. Oh, Megalixer comes in now.
Yeah, I think Jexvrok has calculated that he can do over 30,000 damage in his first turn against Kefka, so he won't even get to Fallen 1, right? Especially since Gaahr is doing over 15 just by himself, then he could throw that Ragnarok for another 10, right? So you're already at 25 there, and you still have 2 other characters to do. So, very smart.
Oh, missed the blitz.
I wonder if he's going to pull off this permamorph here.
Calmness on Cyan.
Down.
Well, there goes your Ragnarok throw.
Yeah, but he did pull off the permamorph, right? So that, how to do that trick is if the morph timer runs out while you're transitioning between tiers, or while your character is either asleep or stopped, or someone else is using quick, right? So those are the ways that you could do what's called the permamorph glitch. So Locke will be permanently in the morph state, which means all of his damage will be doubled, and he gets 50% more resistance to magical damage. I think Jex had a backup plan, and his backup plan is Fixed Dice Setzer. So he's got a decent character coming off the bench, at least, to substitute for the throw Cyan. So that's really nice preparation there from Jex.
Oh, triple threes on that roll. This roll's not so great, though.
Yeah, that's the problem with Fixed Dice, is that when you get up to these higher levels, there's more, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent forms of damage.
Oh, Befallen One does come out. Did not get the threshold in time.
Yeah, when you're charging up Sword Tech, it still lets the enemy ATB grow, and I think that's what happened there. He was just like one turn off.
Oh, and the one healing target with Setzer goes down.
Yeah, so he's going to have to figure out how to do this here.
Oh, well, it does get the charge up, so now he can dump damage.
Alright, so he's got to throw everything that he's got here while charging up for Gaahr. Kefka does not do any counterattacks. So now's the point where he's got to do everything, but Sword Tech Gaahr coming through for Jexy, as that is the crack pal. He's going to finish with a time of 136.14.
136. Oh, my bad. I was looking at the wrong line.
Yeah.
My bad.
136.14 for Jex. And, yeah, unfortunately, he spent way too much time on the Elite River and tried to brute force it. It's kind of rough when you run into a really bad boss that early on in the seed, where you don't want to give up, but sometimes you kind of have to, and you have to go a different way. So, but yeah, so those are our 4 times at the moment. InfiniteFluff currently is the leader with a 108.18, Boo 120.02, Gaahr 128.55, and Jexvrok 136.12. Our other 4 runners of the final table, their heat will be coming up to a stream near you. I don't know exactly when it'll be. You said Saturday, Saberwolf?
Probably Saturday.
I don't know when when our runners have to have their times in by, but
Sunday 10 a.m.
Okay, so it might be on Saturday, it might be on Sunday. We'll see how it goes. But our other 4 runners, Falcon Hit, Zenobian, Pero Que Nariz, and who am I missing?
Zenobian, Falcon Hit, Perla Canales, and
The commish.
The commish.
Right?
Double down. How big fit the commissioner?
That's right. That's right. So those 4, they need to get a time that is that's preferably, you know, under Boo's 120. That I would feel comfortable being underneath there, but who knows? You know, some of our other runners could have avoided the Doomgaze debacle altogether. That seemed to have gotten most of the runners tripped up in the seat here.
Or the spicy chicken too.
Yeah, that got. The Doomgaze is currently 4 for 4. We'll have to see when the next heat goes. See if he can go 8 for 8.
Now Doomgaze is on the left side, so you can even like stack up against it like pre-prod either.
No, he's at the Guardian.
Yeah, he's on the back side. Oh, he's Guardian, so maybe he could.
That's what made it so annoying, is because he was at the spot that caused you to lose the most amount of time when you had to reset out of that fight, right? Because you have to do all that walking back through Kefka's tower.
Yeah, because you don't get to save till afterwards. You're right. So you could overstack left side, or sorry, right side.
Yeah.
So you could go 0-0-4.
You don't know though until you get up there, right? So it'll be interesting to see if any of our runners go for the skip at 9 characters, because then if they do, then they'll at least have that save point on the left-hand side before fighting the Doomgaze up the middle. But that's at least, you know, what I did when I ran this. I luckily did not get Doomgazed. That I think is the only way that you're not going to run into major time loss issues there. So
anything else before we wrap up here? We're gonna raid a Cosbot here. They just started streaming.
Yeah, so let me say thank you to Saberwolf for putting together the graphics and rendering the heats into one VOD for us to do. Thank you, Arusta, for doing co-coms with me. Really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. It was interesting to see the many different ways that our runners tried to tackle this route, and I'm excited to see what the other 4 participants bring to the table here.
Jexvrok dumpster fires.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again to all the runners. Thank you, Schwantz, for co-commentating. Thank you, Saberwolf, as well. So have a great day, everyone. This has been Arusta, and have a great one. Looking forward to it. Watch the next one. Oh, and they're sub to our YouTube. We got to get to 14 more, get to 1,000.
Sorry, I was muted again. Again, we are 14 subs away on the YouTube. When we hit that 1,000, great things are going to happen for our community. We'll be able to donate even more to our fundraisers and like that for the thanks you all do to follow us. So really appreciate that. So once again, we're going to raid Cosbot here, so be sure to give them a little bit of love. I want to thank all our runners and our restream team. Hope to catch you next one Saturday for Heat number 2, round 2 of the Blackjack Battle Royale. Until then, have a good night.